Yes, welcome back. The power is low, so I just read this LGA775 again because you don't have power enough to read this long Windows 10. It's 34. We have to do that tomorrow. So let's just, but I read it already long time ago because this socket is lasting like 6 and 7 years, and it's supporting all the old Pentium D dual core and core 2 duo. This is kind of CPUs you can buy cheap on the second-hand market, like we call it blue papers, and then it's not the yellow papers, we call it the blue papers. No, that's all this Pentium 4, Pentium D, Celeron D, Celeron D, Pentium dual core, Pentium Extreme, core 2, quadro core. So it supports a lot of many different kinds of CPUs you can get very cheap. So I had to get a computer with this LGA 775 slot. I don't have it, but I did look at that last night, 2 hours. This is why I did not sleep so much tonight. So I will just go back to my bed and read it. But I got my pension today, Wednesday, and tomorrow is the 1st December. I'm paying my bills. So I should buy a computer, old computer with LGA. I saw a good one, but that was like $250 or more. It had a quadro core Extreme with an old Asus P51 Deluxe motherboard, but that was $250. But that was the best of the best. I should buy one like this, but that's $250. But now I will read this.
LGA775.
Sorry.
LGA775 LGA775 socket T.jpg. Type LGA chip form factors flip chip contacts 775 protocol and FS frequency 133 MHz 533 mount /S 200 MHz 800 mount /S 266 MHz 1066 mount /S 333 MHz 1333 mount /S 400 MHz 1600 mount /S Processor 37.5mm x 37.5mm 1 LGA 775 Land Grid Array 775, also known as Socket T, is an Intel desktop CPU socket. Unlike PGA CPU sockets, such as its predecessor socket 478, LGA 775 has no socket holes. Instead, it has 775 protruding pins which touch contact points on the underside of the processor, CPU. 2. The socket had an unusually long lifespan, lasting 7 years until the last processors supporting it ceased production in 2011. The socket was superseded by the LGA 1156, Socket H, and LGA 1366, Socket B, sockets. Contents. LGA 775 processors. Heatsink design. Chipsets Intel Core 2 chipsets. SIS. VIA. ATI. NVIDIA. Improvements in heat dissipation. LGA 775 mechanical load limits. LGA 775 compatibility. Virtualization capabilities. See also. References. External links. LGA775 processors. Some of the processors listed here might not work on your Intel-based chipsets. Pentium 4. Pentium 4 Extreme Edition. Dimensions 1,406.25mm 2 processors Intel Pentium 4, 2.66 3.80 GHz. Intel Celeron D, 2.53 3.60 GHz. Intel Pentium 4 Extreme Edition, 3.20 3.73 GHz. Intel Pentium D, 2.66 3.60 GHz. Pentium Extreme Edition, 3.20 3.73 GHz. Pentium Dual Core, 1.40 3.33 GHz. Intel Core 2 Duo, 1.60 3.33 GHz. Intel Core 2 Quad, 2.33 3.00 GHz. Intel Core 2 Extreme, 2.66 3.20 GHz. Intel Xeon, 1.86 3.40 GHz. Intel Celeron, 1.60 2.40 GHz. Predecessor socket 478 successor LGA1156, desktops and low-end servers. LGA1366, high-end desktop sound some low-end servers. Memory support DDR2 DDR3. This article is part of the CPU socket series. A selection of LGA775 Pentium D. Celeron /Celeron D. Pentium Dual Core. Pentium Extreme Edition. Core 2 Duo /Core 2 Quad. Heatsink design. For LGA775, the distance between the screw holes for the heatsink is 72 mm. Such heatsinks are not interchangeable with heatsinks for sockets that have a distance of 75 mm, such as LGA1156, LGA1155, LGA1150, LGA1151 and LGA1200. Chipsets. LGA775 was the last Intel socket for desktops for which third-party companies manufactured chipsets. NVIDIA was the last third-party manufacturer of LGA775 chipsets. Its final product was MCP7, a family marketed as GeForce 9300/9400, launched in October 2008, as other third parties discontinued their products earlier. All chipsets for superseding sockets were exclusively designed and manufactured by Intel, a practice later also adopted by AMD when they first launched APUS in 2011. Socketum 3 Plus processors, also first launched in 2011, were usually paired with AMD chipsets, but some motherboards using third-party chipsets were also manufactured, usually with NVIDIA chipsets, as Socketum 3 Plus design directly derived from earlier Socketum 3 design. Intel Core 2 chipsets. Lakeport 945P/945G/945GC/945G946PL/946GZP. Broadwater I946/P/965/Q965/G965/P965/Q963/I975X. Bearlac X38/X48. Eagle Lake, 45/P/G45/G41/Q43/Q43/Q45. 945P/LS3. Cis. Cis 649. 649FX. 655. 656. 656FX. 662. 671. 671FX. 671DX. 672. Via PT800. PM800. PT880. PM880. P4M800. P4M800 Pro. PT880 Pro. PT880 Ultra. PT894. PT894 Pro. P4M890. PT890. P4M900. PT880 Pro also supports AGP and PCI Express at the same time, but only one port can be used at a time. ATI. ATI Radeon Express 200. ATI Radeon Express 1250. ATI Crossfire Express 3200. NVIDIA. Enforce 4 Ultra. Enforce 4 SLI-XE. Enforce 4 SLI. Enforce 4 SLI X16. Enforce 570 SLI. Enforce 590 SLI. Enforce 610i. Enforce 620i. Enforce 630i. Enforce 650i Ultra. Enforce 650i SLI. Enforce 680i LT SLI. Enforce 680i SLI. Enforce 730i. Enforce 740i SLI. Enforce 750i SLI. Enforce 760i SLI. Enforce 780i SLI. Enforce 790i SLI. GeForce 9300. GeForce 9400. 3. Improvements in heat dissipation. Intel Core 2 Duo E7500 2.93Gs installed into LGA775 socket. The force from the load plate ensures that the processor is completely level, giving the CPU's upper surface optimal contact with the heat sink or cold water block fixed onto the top of the CPU to carry away the heat generated by the CPU. This socket also introduces a new method of connecting the heat dissipation interface to the chip surface and motherboard. With LGA775, the heat dissipation interface is connected directly to the motherboard in 4 points, compared with the 2 connections of the socket 370 and the clamshell 4-point connection of the socket 478. This was done to avoid the reputed danger of the heat sinks /fans off pre-built computers falling off in transit. LGA775 was announced to have better heat dissipation properties than the socket 478 it was designed to replace, but the Prescott Core CPUs, in their early incarnations, ran much hotter than the previous Northwood Core Pentium 4 CPUs, and this initially neutralized the benefits of better heat transfer. However, the later Core 2 processors run at much lower temperatures than the Prescott CPUs they replaced. Processors with lower TDP and clock speeds only used thermal interface compound in between the die and the integrated heat spreader, IHS, while processors with higher TDP and clock speeds have the desoldered directly to the IHS, allowing for better heat transfer between the CPU and the integrated Hespreder. LGA775 mechanical load limits. All LGA775 processors have the following mechanical maximum load limits which should not be exceeded during heat sink assembly, shipping conditions, or standard use. Load above those limits could crack the processor die and make it unusable. Location dynamic status is surface 756N, 170 lbf, 77 kp, 311N, 70 lbf, 31 kp. The LGA775 contact points on the underside of a Pentium 4 Prescott CPU. The transition to the LGA packaging has lowered those load limits, which are smaller than the load limits of socket 478 processors, but they are bigger than socket 370, socket 423 and socket A processors, which were fragile. They are large enough to ensure that processors will not crack. LGA775 compatibility. Compatibility is quite variable, as earlier chipsets, Intel 915 and below, tend to support only single-core netburst Pentium 4 and Celeron CPUs at an FSB of 533/800 mount/s. Intermediate chipsets, for example Intel 945, commonly support both single-core Pentium 4-based CPUs as well as dual-core Pentium D processors. Some motherboards using the 945 chipset could be given a BIOS upgrade to support 65nm core-based processors. Other chipsets shave varying levels of CPU support, generally following the release of contemporary CPUs, as LGA775 CPU support is a complicated mixture of chipset capability, voltage regulator limitations and BIOS support. For example, the newer Q45 chipset does not support netburst-based CPUs such as the Pentium 4 Pentium D, Pentium Extreme Edition, and Celeron D. Virtualization capabilities. Some Core 2 and other socket 775 processors are capable of hardware-accelerated virtualization. However, more recent hypervisors might not be compatible with these CPUs because they lack support for extended page tables. See also: List of Intel processors, List of Intel Pentium 4 processors, List of Intel Core 2 processors.
Good. Just download, so it was last edited like 4 days ago, yes. I will stop the video because it's only one part. So have a good day too.